Hello, my favorite student, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, English with Speaker. My name is Tanya, and today we're going to talk about the second conditional. And this is our third lesson in the series about conditionals. If you have missed the first two, I will leave the link somewhere here and in the description box. You can go there, click on it, and watch them. If you don't know what a conditional sentence is, how many parts there are, and why we need them, what their functions are, then you should definitely go back to those videos and watch them because there is all this information. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about the second conditional, learn how to make affirmative, negative, and interrogative questions with the second conditional, look at its functions, how it works in the sentences, and of course practice. There is also a free PDF worksheet in the description box. You just need to go there, click on the link and get it for free. This worksheet contains all the information from today's lesson and more exercises to practice. Let's bring your English to the next level. And we are going to start with these examples. If you were my husband, I'd poison your coffee. If you were my wife, I'd drink it. They are not a very happy couple, are they? As we remember from the first lessons, there are two clauses in a conditional sentence. And the first clause is a conditional clause or an if clause. An if clause usually shows a situation. And in this case, they are if you were my husband and if you were my wife. So, is he her husband? No. Is she his wife? No. So is this situation real? No, they're not a husband and a wife. All right, so this is an imaginary situation. We imagine it in our heads. The second part of a conditional sentence is a main clause. A main clause. And this is our result of a situation. In this case, they are, I'd poison your coffee and I'd drink it. I'd drink it. Did she poison his coffee? No. Did he drink it? Also no. So is this a real result? No. This result is also imagined. So we use the second conditional to think, to guess, to speculate, to talk about an imaginary situation and its imaginary results. Its imaginary possible results, let's say so. Now, I hope that that's clear, and we will move on to how to make a sentence, how to make the second conditional sentence. Well, if we look at our if clause, if you were my husband, if you were my wife, were indicates past because were is the past of the verb to be. So in an if clause, we use past simple or we may also use past continuous. I will give you an example a bit later. Now, take a look at I'd poison your coffee. I'd drink it. This d part is would. I would poison your coffee. I would drink it. That means that a main clause consists of would plus an infinitive without to. Instead of would, we can also use might if you're less certain. So would shows more certainty and might less certainty. Let's have a look at more examples. If it wasn't raining, we would have lunch outside. If it wasn't raining, we would have lunch outside. Here is an example with past continuous. If people read instructions, they would spend less time on putting up things. If people read instructions, they would spend less time on putting up things. You can also put a main clause first and nothing will change. We would have lunch outside if it wasn't raining. The only thing that differs these two sentences is a comma. If an if clause stands first, you have to put comma after an if clause. If a main clause stands first, you don't need any commas. But you can see this difference only in writing. In speaking, we don't usually mention any commas, right? We just make a tiny pause. Now, let's come back to our first examples. If you were my wife, I'd drink it. If we want to make a sentence negative, we would normally add particle not, a particle not, to an auxiliary verb in an if clause. In this case, we have a verb to be, and the verb to be is so strong that it makes negative, affirmative, and interrogative sentences by itself. It doesn't need any help. So, if you want to make it negative, just add not to the verb be in this case. So, if you weren't my wife, if you weren't my wife. If we take an example about rain, if it wasn't raining, this example itself is already in the past continuous to be more exact, and was is an auxiliary verb here. So, not is in the auxiliary verb. In past simple, of course, you will add not to did. If you want to make a main clause negative, you just simply add a particle not to would or might. For example, I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't drink it. So, we can have, if you weren't my wife, I'd drink it. If you were my wife, I wouldn't drink it. If you weren't my wife, I wouldn't drink it. So you can make both clauses negative at the same time or one at a time. It depends on what you want to say. If you want to make a question, you just simply follow the rules of making questions with modal verbs, because we can only make a question using a main clause, and main clause consists of a modal verb, would or might, and an infinitive without to. So you look at would or might. Let's make a general question. So we take a main clause, that is, I would drink it, I would drink it, and we simply put would in front of I and leave drink it as is. And we get, would I drink it? Would I drink it? Now, if we add the if clause, we will get, would I drink it if you were my wife? That is like a man sitting and thinking to himself, would I drink it if you were my wife? It might sound a bit strange, but you can change the pronouns. It depends on who you are talking to or who you're talking about. Now let's make a special question. I'm sure that you know everything about special questions, but just to remind you, these are the questions that start with WH words, like what, where, who, why, how, what, which. I think I'm repeating myself already, but the full list is here. And you simply place them at the beginning of a question. Say we're interested in this information, in it. And we need to ask a question to it. We will use what. What. Now, we remember how to make general question, would I drink it? And we simply place what at the beginning, as discussed before. What would I drink? And put it away, because this is what we are talking about. This is what we are interested in. So why adding the answer to the question, right? So what would I drink? Now let's add our if clause. What would I drink if you were my wife? And of course you can do it the other way around. If you were my wife, what would I drink? The second conditional is not only used for talking about imaginary situations and its possible results. But also, if you want to make a polite request, if you want to ask for something politely. For example, would it be okay if I sat here? Or, it would be so nice if you visited Granny next weekend. Or, I would be really grateful if you liked this video. Now, I just want to take a moment and thank all of you for supporting me, for following me, for liking the videos, sharing them with your friends, for doing all the exercises with me. And there is one more way to support me. It is to go to Ko-fi and buy me a coffee. I will leave the link here in the description box. And if you feel like buying me a coffee, you can do so. You can do it for as little or as much as you wish. I appreciate every way you support me. Thank you so much. Now, one last thing to discuss is if I were or if I was. Can you look at these two memes and fill in the gaps? Let's talk about the first one. If I were you, I would never let me go. If I were you, I would never let me go. If you remember, there was this thing about the crazy girlfriend. So that is it. The next one is actually my favorite. Some dark humor. I guess that's dark humor. If we were on a sinking ship and there was only one life vest, I would miss you so much. So as you can see, both of these examples say that we need to use were. But the thing is that in spoken English, it's okay to say I was. Nowadays, it's okay to say I was or I were, and they're not considered to be incorrect. I know that many people are against it, but you know, as all languages evolve and change, some things become more acceptable each and every day. And I was and I were are some of these things. But you need to remember that this is okay in spoken English, yeah, when you're talking to other people. But in writing or when you're doing different tests, it's not okay. Stick to if I were. That is the correct answer. Keep that in mind. Now it's quiz time and let's practice. So we need to open the brackets with the correct form of the verbs. The first one. If I ate these every day, I would get really fat. Number 2. I would appreciate if you could work late tonight. Number 3. What would you do if you spent all the money? Number 4. You could save time if you worked from home. Number 5. This one is a tricky one. If you went to bed earlier, you wouldn't be so tired. Okay, and that's it for today. I'm sure that you did a great job. Thank you for watching this lesson. Go ahead to the description box, click on the link and get your free of charge PDF worksheet. Thank you for watching this lesson. Thank you for being here with me today. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.